I had a very interesting, disturbing, uh, challenging conversation with someone this week. We just got together for coffee. We check in with each other from time to time. And she had said before that she was really stressed out and was so stressed out, she's like some of her hair is just falling out and is really thinning. So she's really stressed out so much that it's affecting her physical body in more ways than one. And I noticed when we sat down together and I really looked at her that she was looking very drawn and heavy and in despair. And as we started to share with each other about where we were in our lives right now and how things are going, she said she's in, I would call it despair. She didn't call it that. I think she's so used to this now, to being in this mindset, that she doesn't identify it as despair, or that it could be connected to how she's feeling physically and what's happening to her physically. A doctor that I had for 35 years before I moved here told me that we can get both physically, mentally, and emotionally so used to a level of stress that we no longer call it stress, that we don't even know that we are in a stressful condition, because that's how we are living, and our bodies have now adjusted to help us be at that level of stress and survive. And probably the operative word there is just survive. I think we all want to do more than subsist in this life. We would like to thrive. And this friend of mine is far from thriving, far from thriving. So she has been immersing herself, and I use that word specifically, immersing herself in all the problems of the world. She has read every single book, and she prides herself on this, on reading every single book about race relations, about division, about the wars going on. She's always in the news. She's listening to it several times a day. She's talking to people about it. She's watching documentaries about it. She's got statistics that she was remembering, and as we're talking, she's relating all of these statistics to me. And she's just in it because she thinks it's important, and it's important to her to know what's going on in the world. And yes, it's probably important to know what's going on in the world. To let it strangle you is another thing altogether. Altogether. She is so immersed in what is wrong with the world that she's drowning in it. Drowning in it. The challenging and disturbing part of the conversation is how immersed she is in the narratives about what life is like in this world, particularly for people of color. Because now because she's immersed in the narratives, she believes that there's really only one existence for people of color. And she feels like, oh my gosh, your life is so terrible. And she was trying to convince me of that. And I thought, okay, we meet for coffee from time to time, but you don't come home with me. You don't really know me. But so it was an interesting conversation. I found myself having to really breathe deeply and not take it personally, though, yeah, I did, because it was hard. And this conversation went on for a while, and I just decided, let me separate myself, because I'm like, I've watched too many superhero movies, so I'm putting shields up so I could listen to her and be there for her, but not take on her despair. And man, was it work. I mean, in the beginning I thought, all right, just breathe into this and bring up your shields and just listen and breathe. And then I thought, oh, I need a bigger shield for what she's talking about. And then the shields had to get taller and taller. And pretty soon I felt like I was in, and you ever see those drum cages they have in churches? And the guy's in the drum cage, and so it, kind of buffers the sound and does what it's supposed to do. I felt like I was in that. And then in my suit, like, who is it? What's the superhero that has a suit that comes over? Iron Man, thank you. So I feel the suit, just like it does in a movie where it starts here, and all of a sudden you see his whole body is now encased in the suit. I needed to be in the suit for that conversation with her. Plus the shield, plus the cage. And I was still having to breathe deeply. And you could see her getting heavier and more despairing as she's talking about it. So at some point I said, I think we should just take a breath. And how about, I don't need the statistics. I don't. I'm aware of what's going in the world. I have a different life than you think I have. And I thought, it's time to bring some positivity. It's time now to speak my truth of the world. Because I thought, man, I got to shake this off. We've got to switch this conversation around, or else, I'm just going to, who wants to live like that? And yet, she's there and very proud of it. Very, very proud of being in that space where she just knows what's happening in the world, and she is here to save us all. And I thought, you can't even save yourself right now, you're so tired. Really? And so the first thing I said to her was that we're not here to save the whole world. Please let it go. We're not here to save the world. Each of us, I believe, is here to save our little corner of the world with whatever gift you were brought here with. And it's your job to use that gift to heal whatever people come into your realm or who are in your existence, or if you're called to do that in the wider community, out into the global village, that's your calling. But we're all here to do something specific. We're not here to do everything. And the first sign that we might be heading down the wrong path is if your own mission to save the world is killing you. That's the first sign. So if your hair's falling out, you're exhausted, you don't want to get out of bed in the morning because there's just too much to take care of, maybe you don't get out of bed. Maybe you rest. Maybe you turn off the news. Maybe you stop reading those books. Maybe you spend some time with some people who are doing good work in the world, because there are millions of people doing great, great work in the world. I told her, I believe, I have to believe, I do believe, and I do know because I immerse myself in that side of what's happening, that there is more good, there's more peace than there is conflict and evil in the world. Because if there were so much evil as she thinks there is, as much greed by corporations, she believes every corporation is greedy, every one. Every last one of them can't be good. And everybody's out, everybody's besieged. Oh my gosh, there's so many people who are oppressed. Well, not everybody's oppressed. Some are, many are, but not everyone. And she can't see past it. I don't know that she wants to see past it. She doesn't have a foundation for life that buoys her in the world, that helps her rise above the fray. And if she does, she has forgotten that she has it, because everything that is meaningful to her is outside of her. I always remember that Jesus said, and Jesus walked through the world like this, he was in the world, but not of it. We have to be able to walk through the world, shields up, knowing who and what you are, so that you can withstand what's happening. My mentor, who I'm working with now, she and I were talking about how I am walking through the world. And because my work is so outward, and that my work is about giving, 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 that I too need to find a way to protect myself, to feed myself, to refresh myself. And we all need to, because all of us are pouring into others in our lives. We are. So she told me about Psalm 91. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge, my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. And so part of that I changed into an affirmation for myself that I'm now saying aloud every day. Listen to those words. Rest in the shadow of the Almighty. He is my refuge and my fortress. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. Will be your shield and rampart. You will only observe with your eyes. So I looked up the meaning of lion in our Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. We must have the courage to enter fearlessly into the overcoming life. The overcoming life, I like that phrase. And into the understanding of things. But courage alone will not do. We must have reverence of spiritual things, a devotional attitude in order to receive spiritual inspiration. The phrase of the tribe of Judah bespeaks this reverential nature and attitude. So the Hebrew meaning of the word Judah is to praise Jehovah. It is evident that Judah represents the spiritual faculty that corresponds to accumulation or increase in the mental, and this is praise and prayer. Prayer should be a jubilant thanksgiving, not a supplication. We don't beg, we don't ask. We give thanks for strength, to be covered, to have our refuge, to be able to rest in the all good. Jesus Christ purified his substance and his life and lifted them up until his life became a pure stream of divine life to cleanse us. The 5th chapter of Revelation reveals the full inner meaning of the atonement of Jesus Christ's redeeming work on earth. If we understand it fully, we shall understand the inner working of the divine principle in its redeeming work in our whole being. The real spiritual life in race consciousness, and race consciousness means human race, has been disregarded, put out of substance. So this Lamb of God, the original pure life and substance, appears to be slain insofar as the animal consciousness of man is concerned. So when we stay in our humanity, when we stay seeking only those things that are outside of us, that's when we feel defeated. So we always have to show up. We always have to lean on, go to spiritual understanding. But to our awakened and illumined thoughts, activities, and faculties, it is the Lion that is the tribe of Judah, a source of new life and substance, which we continually worship, praise, and love until we realize this new, all-conquering life more and more fully and perfectly. The root of David has reference to the love quality and its original purity. This is needed also. We must become rooted in love. Love is the attracting force. Love is attracting. And so when we love the peace of God, when we love the spiritual, when we love what is within us, not what is without us, then what we attract is peace and harmony. But we have to go to spiritual understanding about what's happening in the world and leave it alone. So maybe you look at the news, maybe you watch it, and then you shut it off. You stop watching, and then you sit and remember who and what you are and where your strength comes from. You may hear something on the news, another shooting, another war, something else happening, and then you let it go, you shut it down. Or you watch it from a place of observance, not to take it on, not to immerse yourself in the despair. Remember, we talked about Dr. Michael Beckwith's quote that the news is just a prayer request. The news is a prayer request. It's not asking you to take it on and lay down in the mud saying, oh my gosh, I can't take it anymore. Sure, you can go there if you want to, but if you have spiritual understanding, then you hear it and then you sit and you remember that you are grounded and centered in the all good. And then you affirm what you know about the truth with a capital T, about life, that there is always love, there is always goodness, and that force of love and goodness is greater than anything that can show up in the manifest world. And that you are going to be an instrument of that love and power. Because as soon as we lay down in despair, we contribute to the global consciousness of despair. Those of us who say we know have to act like we know. When you know better, do better. We say we know better. We say we know better. We affirm it at the end of every single service. Is it lip speak or are you living it? What have you taken into your heart? Praise and prayer. Praise for all the goodness in life. Praise for all those who are sharing their wonderful gifts in the world and are healing their corner of the world. I have a friend who's on the Big Sky Retreat board with me, who's now in Cambodia with David Alt doing humanitarian work. It's a 4-week trip. She's been wanting to do it for a long time. She is picked up from her life and is now finding a calling in this humanitarian work. Every single conference, every single meeting I have been to in the last 3 months has been nothing but goodness and light, people doing their work in the world. The American Clergy Leadership Conference that I belong to, they are about interfaith work, and they are serious about this interfaith work. In fact, I was talking with them the other day. What they do is when we have dinner meetings, that they welcome us in, all of us in, who come from, I don't know how many different, probably every single person in that room the other day, and there were probably 40 of us. There were at least 15 different faiths represented in that room. All of us treated like family. Not tolerated, not included just because they wanted us in the door so they could say we're doing interfaith work, but all of us welcomed as family. So it's not just a meeting. They pay attention to the details. The room is decorated, flowers on the table. Every time I leave, I go home with fresh flowers. The room is beautiful. They play music. Sometimes they have praise dancers there. Everyone, they come around and they ask us about our lives. We talk about our beliefs. We share our beliefs with each other. We find our commonalities of belief. We pray with each other. Different faiths come up and pray from their understanding of God. And everybody has their arms open to that prayer. And at the end of every meeting, we stand up and everyone prays aloud in their faith tradition, the way that they pray, and it is a symphony of prayer in the room. And I get goosebumps every single time. That's different than some meetings. Most of the time, someone walks me to my car at the end of the meeting. That's love in action. Do we have religious sects fighting and killing each other? Sure. Is there a lot of interfaith work going on in the world? Yes. Yes. Is there hate and discrimination? Man, the anti-Semitism that has cropped up is frightening. And yet, are there people who love just love? Yes. The problems of the world are loud, and people are talking about it because they have an investment in it. They have an investment in it, in one way or another. And that's their thing. And maybe that's what they believe they're called to do. My friend is worried about what other people think. I got to worry about what I think. I can't be concerned about what other people think because I can't change your thinking, but I can show up in the world in such a way that perhaps you are affected by my positivity, by my love in action, by an aura of love that I may have in the world. I can't change your thinking. I could be here another 6 years and not change your thinking. And I'm not supposed to change my thinking. You have to work on your thinking. But first, as Emmett Fox says in this book, we have to be willing to even think that perhaps our thinking needs to change. Because we know how to get dug in, don't we? We know what we know what we know. My friend knows what she knows what she knows. She thinks we are going to hell in a handbasket. In fact, she thinks we're already there. She does. And she's got the Superman outfit on, but her cape's not blown in the wind, and her suit's beat up, and she is beat up, and she's tired, and she's not doing this. I think she's doing this. Oh my God, I'm going to save the world today. If your mission is killing you, find another mission, friends. That's not what we were brought here to do. Yes, we were brought here with gifts to use in the world and to heal our corner of the world. But whatever it is that is your gift should only give you more life and vitality. It should bring a shine to your eyes. You should wake up in the morning eager to share your gifts in the world. And if you're not, pick another gift. Or just stay in bed till you find something better, or you feel better, or you get enough rest, or you find an answer. Pray for an answer. Be willing to say to yourself and be willing to be open to Spirit to say, I don't think I have this figured out. What do you believe in? What are you so invested in your thinking and your beliefs? Perhaps, you're wrong. Could you be? Are you willing to even consider that you might be wrong in something? And are you so invested in it that you'll fight for it? That you want to kill somebody else because theirs is different from yours? You know, we may not be throwing bombs. We may not be shooting others, physically killing them. But sometimes mentally and emotionally, we are doing real harm to other people and to ourselves because we suffer. We suffer when we show up in the world like that, emotionally or mentally violent, when we're in judgment, when we are closed-minded, when we think we got it all figured out. We restrict ourselves and the people that we're sharing with. Perhaps it's better not to share. Perhaps it's better not to share. What you're called to do, what you do in this world, seriously, should give you energy. It should feed you. You should feel like you're not working because you love what you're in and you love yourself in that space, in that expression. And then when you share it, that you see the light go on in others' eyes. Even if it's just I'll think about that. You don't have to convert people. But perhaps if we're open, they'll open up. And man, all Spirit needs is a crack in the door. Spirit can do monumental things with a crack in the door. Whether we crack or they crack. Hopefully we both crack and let some light in. So I invite you to be open about what you believe about your life, how it's going, what's happening, why it's happening, and how you can be an instrument of healing in that space, in that expression. To remember Remember, remember, remember that you come from goodness only, that you come from love, that you come from a strength and a vitality that is inexhaustible. You have within you a wisdom that knows all things. You just have to go to it. Say, tell me what to do with this. And then when you hear, do. Don't question, don't abbreviate, don't edit. Don't doubt it. And know in your heart that what it is you're asked to do, you can execute beautifully and gracefully. It's good to be in the world, but don't be of it. I invite you to find a way to observe the world, to be an observer. Say, okay, I know some stuff's going on over there, we got new stuff going on over here. Stuff going on in my family, my personal life, my marriage, my friendships. Stuff going on in the world. And, I know that love always wins. I know that divine wisdom has in everything, that there's a spiritual answer for everything. We just have to tune in. Tune in, tune in, tune in. Prayer and praise for the good, for love, and get quiet and listen for the answers. And when you hear of dis-ease in the world, pray. Answer the prayer request. Answer the prayer request with your energy and your power and your strength. And if you don't have the energy, pray for yourself. Affirm your goodness, your divinity. Shore yourself up. Know what the shields are. Know what your shields are. So you can be the Iron Man. Feel the suit coming up. Envision yourself like this. Cape flowing. D for divinity on the shirt. And smile and relax. It's all good. It's all good. Let's take this in a meditation. So just breathe. Where are you in your life? Are you in despair about something, one thing, or many things? Is what's happening in the world frightening you? Is what's happening in your own personal life dragging you down? Do you have a troublesome relationship? Whether it's with a person, your job, a group that you're in, some place that you give your time and energy. Are you not so excited about the holidays because you'll be cooped up with your family for a few hours? Is there something or someone that sticks in your craw? Makes you wince or want to run in the other direction? Are you moving too fast? Are you too tired for life? You dragging yourself out of bed in the morning because you can't face it, you don't want to face it. Are there a lot of straws on that camel's back? You think it's just going to take one more before it breaks? So now in your heart of hearts, you can use the word God or love, whatever is meaningful for you. The all good, the universe. God is my refuge and my fortress, in whom I trust. I am covered with her feathers, and under her wings I find refuge. The love that never fails is my shield and rampart. Love is my refuge. Yes, I have courage, but I have moved beyond courage to the spiritual understanding that the divine is at work. And that I am that divine fire. I am that divine fire. Love is my refuge and my fortress. Love is my refuge and my fortress. I fear not. I fear not. The infinite expresses in, through, and as me. I am not just safe. I am steadfast and strong. And with each breath, I breathe in strength and power. And I breathe it out into the world and into this challenge before me. And it shall crumble. I breathe life into the challenge before me. And it shall crumble. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. You are power and light. Inhale. Exhale. Rest in it. Trust in it. Be in it. And send it out into the world. And so it is, and so it shall be.